Yo, what is going on, Martards? It is the PWHustle, A-Track Brown, and I'm here with the latest, the newest member of the PWHustle family. Actually, he's been a part of the PWHustle family for a long time, but this is his first appearance, finally, on the PWHustle show. My man, Tough, the Great. What's going on, brother?
Chilling, man. I've been following you guys for a while. Usually I just post memes, watch all your videos and stuff. Usually I listen when I'm getting ready for work or, just even doing chores around the house and stuff, laundry, cooking, stuff like that. But I've never actually called in or whatever. So, but Impact was doing Bound for Glory this weekend. And, they was doing on a Saturday. And I'm like, I got some time to kill. So I messaged you about it. So, all right, well, let's get it done. So here we are.
And let me tell you, for you, listen, for me, it was a great night. For you, it had to be even a double of a great night. Yep. Your Braves are going to the World Series, if I'm not mistaken. Is that it?
Yeah. We'll get into that. We'll get into that as we go into the show.
But the overall premise of tonight's show is the Bound for Glory review. The professor should be here with us, but he was having some technical issues, and I told him to contact his lover, Sydney Powell, so she could fix the shit, but we'll see what will happen. Maybe we'll do a follow-up show tomorrow with the professor if he gets to watch the rest of Bound for Glory. And Bound for Glory, I said, they had their hands full because AEW was on tonight. Bound for Glory came on at 10 because they didn't want to go up against Bound for Glory, I guess. I would say that they should have just fucking waited till tomorrow if that was the case. But I understand what's going on. They want to feed off that leftovers of Dynamite, like Rampage wants to feed off of the leftovers of SmackDown, which only is a testament to how good AEW is doing now. You got GCW doing shows, you got Impact. When you have other fucking wrestling promotions piggybacking off your shit, you know you're doing something right, all right? So I'll say that for AEW tonight. And we'll talk a little bit of AEW. Well, let's talk a little AEW before we get into Bound for Glory. Let's not ignore the fact that AEW did have a show tonight. It was a great show. We won't run down the entire show, but we'll just say this. Cody Rhodes, you see, we spoke about this on the Hustle earlier. Billy Ray Valentine is hating on Cody, but now he can't hate on Cody no more. First, Cody ends racism. Now Cody ends Satanism. And, I'm a man of God. How am I going to hate on that? He ended Satanism today. He finally beat Aleister Black. He finally got that win. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciated that. Now, the match was awesome. The match was awesome. That was the main event for tonight. I don't know how people really feel about it going in. You can't say it's 50-50 booking because this motherfucker already beat him twice. But it was one hell of a fucking match. I can say that. What are your thoughts, Top?
Man, as long as Cody, he's in the racism and all this other stuff, I'll tell you what Cody needs to do. If he wants to get people to start cheering him, he needs to end this PS5 shortage, and then, he'll be the most overdue in pro wrestling. That's what, maybe he can do that next. That's all I'm saying, And
yes, I will say that I am doing a show with the with a PlayStation guy. See, listen, if Xbox and PlayStation guys can do shows together, then Star Wars and Star Trek guys can come along. We're like Cody Rhodes. We're putting an end to the Nerd Wars right now, all right? Well, so Cody is inspiring us right now. The man is inspiring me to do a show with a PlayStation guy. We all know PlayStation guys pee sitting down, but that's okay. That's okay. We're here in peace tonight because, listen, we celebrating. I'm celebrating. I know Top is celebrating, so we're going to get into shit. But we definitely have to make sure we check up on Lance Archer, who took a nasty fucking fall. At first I thought he was selling. Then I thought he was overselling. Then I saw the actual slow motion.
I was confused when he did it because I've never seen him do a moonsault. So when he went up there, I thought he was posing for the crowd, because sometimes he'll be after he messes somebody up. Exactly. But then he did the moonsault, and he tipped and landed on his head. I'm sure he's done it before. I've never seen him do it before. So
let's just hope at worst it's just a stinger you know, which is not, I guess, which is the best thing you could hope for. Let's hope nothing is really wrong. Let's hope it's a sprain or something like that. I hope it's not too serious. You even saw Eddie Kingston, like he wasn't sure to break character or go check up on him. Like it was
Yeah.
like for a split second if you saw that. But I want to say this about to before we finish up with what happened with Dynamite, and let's hope that Lance Archer is getting well. Sammy Guevara, though he's not terrible on the mic, that nigga needs to put some bass in his fucking voice.
Yo,
That
man, shout outs to the pervert in the crowd that said cream pie me, Sammy. Did you see that?
missed that. I completely missed that shit.
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
Yeah.
You see, this is the shit that this is why AEW fans a lot of the time.
That's another thing too. Since we're talking about Dynamite, Dynamite's on that Attitude Era shit with the signs. Like Botchamania has like a segment that's just like nothing but the different random AEW signs, and there's like this one segment that has nothing but just like video game signs and stuff. Like one sign said, "Final Fantasy VII is overrated." My personal favorite. My personal favorite one was it said what did it say, Earthbound greater than Persona, and I was like
yes, sir. Oh, now we've spoken about Persona. Listen, and to my homeboy Ken Chan who might be watching, listen, dogs, I tried. I swear to God, I tried. I cannot. Yo, right now my daughter's fun playing that shit. That's why I haven't touched my PS5 and my PS4 in so long, because she's been playing it. But I tried. I cannot get into that fucking game. I can't. But Final Fantasy.
Which one have you played? Which one did you play?
5 was the last one I was playing. You know,
okay.
I tried to play all of them at one point because, you know, I got the PlayStation Now network and you get all so all those shits. I said, okay, I'm gonna be here for days because there's so many games I haven't played that I want to play. Even with the Xbox shit, I'm playing all these different Final Fantasies, trying to figure out which is the best one. But yeah, I tried. I don't know. Maybe one I'll have the right type of weed and I'll be ready to focus. But yeah, back to the fact that Sammy just needs to get some bass in his voice. I want that dude to be the complete guy. Because he like it or not, if you're a fan of Sammy, if you're not, he's one of those dudes like Jungle Boy, like Allen, and like MJF. He's the future of that company. You know, Lord willing, everything goes well for him health wise in his career. So I just want him to facing up.
The one thing I would like to see more of in AEW, and we're seeing a little bit more of it subtly as the months go by. Some of my fondest memories of not just like the Attitude Era, but just like wrestling in general is like watching Raw or SmackDown, and like there's The Rock in the ring, and then there's like Triple H near the ramp, and then like Rock says something, then Triple H says something, and they just go back and forth feeding off each other, and like that's how you get over. And that's how you get people to grow your audience. And I feel like what happened is that WWE, and I don't, this is the only time I'm going to mention them because we want to focus on AEW and Impact tonight. But I feel like WWE, they overused the whole, we're going to start to show off with a promo, especially during the Authority era, where every single week it was Stephanie, Triple H, or whoever. And it would always be like some Authority promo. They'd be interrupted by Bryan, Punk, Cena, or whoever the babyface was at the time. And, that would lead to whatever was going on. So it was like WWE would do it so much that, like, it's kind of given off this false narrative that, like, oh, wrestling fans are tired of it. And it's like, yeah, we're tired of seeing it every week. But we don't mind seeing it every now and then. Just like how wrestling fans, we're not tired of authority figures. We just don't want to see them on TV every week.
And being boring as fuck,
Right. So
you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Because see, I like that AEW, they take their time doing things, and I've always stated, I try not to be an actual fan of promotions so much the people that the promotions have. But for sake of argument, those are the formulas that I like what they're doing. You know, as much as when Tony Khan talks, it's like, oh God, I want to smack this guy in the face. I can't deny the shit that he's saying, and that's the hard part. And I think that's why a lot of people hate him, because they can't. Yeah. I've seen people fucking furious at what he was saying recently about Eric Bischoff. But it's like, he's not wrong. The man's not, he's not lying here. Why are y'all mad? Because he's bringing up old wounds and it's like salt in them shits or something? I mean, he's not entirely wrong. I think the man should take a little step back from talking so much. Just let your work speak for itself. I don't mind if he does things for the sake of the business, like he was tweeting, I can't wait to beat you guys, yada, yada, yada.
The SmackDown thing caught me off guard because I didn't even put 2 and 2 together that it was going to be, you know, I didn't even realize it until he brought it up.
What he was saying. Like, I didn't even get it. I'm like, wait a minute, SmackDown's going to be on at 8 o'clock?
Right.
I mean, what's going to be on at 8 o'clock with SmackDown? But I understood later on. And like I said on the earlier show, Roman got beat by fucking the Demon.
Acknowledge. This going to be a new thing we're going to get over. We're going to get over in your show. And you can tell us to the professor, okay? Acknowledge the bunny. Acknowledge the bunny.
Real. She's the tribe. I told you, she's the queen. She's the queen of the universe. She's above the tribal chief right now, yo. His dude was talking like everybody was. I like the fact that a lot of people say, "Ha ha, AEW lost," and everybody's like, "Wait a minute," but they won the demo. My whole thing was not ha ha ha, AEW lost. Ha ha ha, Roman Reigns was talking shit, and ha ha ha, you couldn't even crack a million. Needle mover. What the fuck? With you lost to 2 chicks. Not that there's anything wrong with losing to 2 chicks, but in the best fashion, because Ruby Soho was also in that match. So let's not leave her out of the frame. And you have people like, oh, I saw a few people in groups saying Ruby Soho lost, and then she lost to Britt Baker, and then she disappeared. And I was like, that's a bad thing? Like what? And this is the WWE shit getting locked in people's heads. You lose, so you should automatically come back and ask for another match or demand another match or keep feuding with the person. I'm glad they brought her in. They fed her to Britt. She lost. She can start all over. Now, when it comes down to it, you have the TBS Women's Tournament, which I gotta say, I don't know who to go for here. I said Jade Cargill, but then I saw that she was up against Thunder Rosa, and I thought the final matches would be those two, but it's not. I don't know who to go for here. I like Thunder Rosa, but I think Jade should be getting that push. Maybe she's not ready yet, and they'll pull the trigger with Thunder Rosa, and that's fine. But for me right now, it's 50-50. Ruby Soho, I still think she don't need it right now. It should go to somebody more original to the company, even though Thunder Rosa is technically not she's not an AEW original. She came in on her own. But if it goes to Jade, that's cool too. I can just go either way. Jade or Thunder Rosa, doesn't matter to me. But I don't think Ruby should be winning it. I've seen a lot of people rooting for her, but in my opinion, I don't think so. So, to the greatest fucking night of this month, okay? Bound for fucking Glory. Now, I should have wrote down the fucking matches, but we just gonna go with the fuck we saw. Opening match. What was the fucking opening match? It was matter of fact, maybe I should look this shit up.
I can't look it up. I was about to look it up for you, see what was going on.
Bound for Glory. There we go.
Okay, I got the card right now.
Very much. Who we had in the first match?
All right, the first match was not including the pre-show. That was the intergender. All right. So the first match was
PNC IW whatever C champion is Jordan Grace, by the way. And like I said before, that belt means less than the shit that I took during that whole.
Right, the first match was the Inspiration making their debut against Rosemary and the racist bitch Havoc. And first of all, I'll go ahead and go first this one. Cool entrance by the Inspiration, actually pretty good, nice musical stuff like that. I mean, it sounds like something out of MTV in the 90s, but yeah, whatever.
I was like, who's this bitch lip syncing? By the way, I have no idea who the fuck she is. I'm 41. I'm out of this new music game. I have no idea who none
Right.
of these artists are.
Right. I'll be honest with you. I was never really that much of a fan of the Iconics or the inspiration in WWE. There's a difference between good heat and annoying, like change to channel heat, and that's kind of what they were for me. However, they were important to the ecosystem, which was they were trying to make a women's tag team division, and they were legitimately the only actual female tag team. So
Yeah.
right. So even though I didn't care for them, I'm like, well, they are a tag team. So then when they got broken up, I was just kind of like, why? And, because, they just started breaking up all these teams. And then eventually they got, released, because of their visa issues. They couldn't really do anything. And now here they are. And, there were some people saying maybe they might go to AEW. And I figured, Impact's a better place for them because Impact has an actual tag division. Maybe AEW will have some one day, but right now, Impact is.
It's
and
coming.
And one thing I will always give Impact Wrestling, where do you want to call them, Impact or TNA or whatever, the number one positive that I will always give TNA Impact is, of all the companies that are currently in the landscape, no company is as good as turning nobodies into somebodies. They're very good at taking talents that you didn't care for or talents that you've never heard of, and they will reinvent themselves there and will turn them into players that'll make you go, you know what? I would like to see them elsewhere. They took whatever EC3's name was. He was on NXT season 4. He was Daniel Bryan's rookie. He went to TNA and he became
Something
EC3
Bateman or some shit like that.
Yes, Derek Bateman, something like that. He became EC3 there, and he really increased his stock. Eli Drake, he was part of the early NXT system. He went to TNA, or Impact Wrestling, whatever you want to call it. He became Eli Drake, and he got himself over. Bubba Ray Dudley, for many years, was just seen as a tag team guy. Then he went to TNA, became Bully Ray, and I'm leaving out many more. Like, we'll be here all day.
So, Bobby Lashley, Christian. I was saying with Christian going in, I don't care what, I don't know what backstage shit happened between Christian and that particular TNA regime that he couldn't stand after he left. Right. But all I know is this: they took that man, did everything that the WWE should have been doing with him, and put him in the form. Put it like this: I didn't give a shit about Impact until fucking TNA until Christian got there. That's when I really started saying, okay, I got to start watching this shit. I'm not gonna lie, that was the page turner for me. And they have done that. They've done that. They've done that with so many people. And you're absolutely right. The one thing that could come of the inspiration, aka the Iconics being in, is that they will probably raise them up to be better than what they were before. And probably the WWE would take notice again. And if they fix the visa issues, they might be back again. But and in a typical, no matter what regime it is, typical fashion, what happens? They won the belts. Was I happy about that? Yes and no. I didn't care for Havoc being in the team with Rosemary only because of the history me and you and I both know that Havoc has. Really is not on the same level as Tessa, but she was out there doing some stupid shit. But at least she, I from what I understand, at least she did apologize or she admitted her wrongdoings or whatever. I don't know, but I don't fuck with her. So I just didn't want them. I didn't want them making that same fucking move where, okay, you knew, you come in, you get the belt. But they did it again. And whatever. I mean, for some strange reason, it seems to me, and these are people who aren't even Impact fans, but for some strange reason, it seems that people are really happy that they're in Impact. Like, people who didn't even give a fuck about these chicks before are now seeing some type of fucking, oh, yeah, they're in Impact. Okay, that's cool. Let's see what happens. And they gave them the belts, and I guarantee you, whatever they did not let them do in WWE, they will let them do in Impact. It's the same thing right now with Eric Young and Violent by Design. You may not care for Doring. You may not care for one of the Deaner brothers. You may not even care for Eric Young. But what you're seeing with what he's doing with them is basically what he could have done with Sanity, with Killian Dane, with
I think what it is with Impact is, for better or worse, this is like throughout their history. Not everything they've done, worked, like Immortal. Like, my God, that was such a horrible faction. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is with Impact, whatever they're gonna do, they're gonna try. Whereas
Yeah,
like
exactly.
in WWE, so many times they'll try. Like you get these stop and start pushes. Like what's his name? He's gone now. The football dude, the dude that was with Ryder Cardona. Um,
Mojo Rawley.
yeah. Like remember the stuff he was doing where like he was looking in the mirror and it had like the
Uh-huh.
cracks and stuff.
Yep.
And then they just dropped it. You know, like WWE does that a lot where they start stuff and then like it just gets dropped. You know, with Impact, you're not gonna get that with Impact. Whatever they do with Impact, whether it works, whether it doesn't work,
it works or not, they're gonna try. Exactly.
Yeah, they're gonna try. They're gonna try.
No matter what, we all remember how Broken Matt Hardy started. Most people were like, "What the fuck was this?" And me being the motherfucker that I am, I'm like, I don't give a fuck what anybody says. I'm liking this shit. I see this shit going somewhere, and lo and behold, it morphed into this fucking phenomenon that we never saw coming. And then this fucking regime came in and completely fucked it up. But hopefully, but now they seem to learn their lesson somewhat. But Mary and Havoc lose to the Inspiration. The match itself, it was okay. I don't really care for it. Like I said, I don't care for the Inspiration. I don't think that they're like, some wow female wrestlers. I see the potential that Peyton Royce can have. When you've seen her in single matches, she does things that are kind of like cool and somewhat innovative, even though they may not come off real clean. But you see that she has the potential to be better if she keeps working on her craft. Billie Kay does nothing for me except for her character can be kind of annoying, which can turn into something entertaining, but on a certain level. So what we have next?
Next we got the X Division Triple Threat.
Now, what was it that you were saying about this match?
Oh, well, what I was saying is I think just present day modern wrestling has just kind of desensitized me to like the crazy bumps and stuff. Like we've probably never had this talk before. I mean, you should probably notice from our conversations already, I'm an OG NWA TNA guy, like Low Key, Sabin, Shelley, Amazing Red, AJ Styles, Elk Skipper, like I'm talking like the Asylum days, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Right. So like most of this stuff that the X Division people do now, it's like, okay, like it's cool, it's athletic, it's impressive, but it's like I don't really see any breakouts. Like what I'm trying to say is back in the day, like you would see like an AJ Styles, a Christopher Daniels, a Jay Lethal.
Yeah.
Right. You would see dudes like that, and you could be like, yeah, those guys are really good, but like I could see them like as a world champ someday. I could see them hitting that next level. And I don't watch Impact like I used to. And the X Division is still good. Like they still have like talented athletes, but it's like when I look at the X Division, it's like I don't see anybody like Austin Aries or AJ Styles or Jay Lethal. Like I'm looking for the one X Division dude. Like who's the one X Division guy who could be like the next dude that you can just focus the whole company around?
Yeah.
Like, I don't see a dude like that anymore. But that doesn't mean that they're not talented. They're really great wrestlers. It's just when I watch them, they don't do anything that I don't already see in Ring of Honor or NXT.
They don't have that panache that the guys first had. I actually understand clearer now. Yeah, you're not completely wrong. I will say that the winner of tonight's match, which was Trey Miguel, I think he has that. Because I was saying when I was first of all when I was watching the match, that it wasn't bad. It was your typical spot fest that you would think it was up until to this point where Trey Miguel went to do a hand sprint, a hand flip onto the rope, and Macklin fucking speared his ass right. And right after that moment, it was like the match picked the fuck up, and they started doing some crazy ass shit. And I was saying to myself, now I know Macklin is coming in right out of the WWE, but please don't disrespect Trey Miguel. The man resigned. He could have went to NXT. Do right by this guy. And out of all the crazy shit I was watching him do, first of all, I like his entrance. His entrance is fucking awesome. He really is trying to be like the Miles Morales of the wrestling world. And if you're gonna fucking have a character to copy off of, what better one than Miles Morales, which is fine with me. So Trey Miguel wins, which opens the door for a potential option C, seeing how long he might have that belt and seeing what happened later tonight. But I enjoyed it, and I do think that I will say on top of what you were saying about the Panaz and the is this the guy? I think Trey Miguel does have that. Size. He's really no different than an Austin Aries size-wise. He's really no different than
was this like
AJ Styles.
Was this like a one-off for Phantasmo? Was he signed, or was he just doing an appearance?
Phantasmo he's with New Japan, so it's the whole exchange thing with them. And I was saying, don't give it to Phantasmo. I understand if you do, but you don't gotta do that no more. You gave your tag titles to FinJuice. You've apologized and showed that you've learned your lesson from the last shit.
It's cool to see New Japan guys on actual Impact. That just really shows you.
Definitely. And you're going to see Strong. He's going to be in New Japan. So, hopefully maybe at some point he's out in California on Strong defending the X Division title against, TJ Perkins, who's a part of, not TJ Perkins. It's, what's his name? Not TJ Perkins. TJ, what the fuck is his name?
Hey, wait, you talking about like the one that does the dab, right?
That was his name.
Yeah. He's everywhere. He's in MLW. He's in Impact.
He's a part of this guy's faction. Will Ospreay's faction, and so
the Empire. Yeah.
Empire. So you might see them on Strong going, having matches, or maybe he might be facing Show. Who knows? I'd love to see Trey Miguel versus Shaw. I think that would be a fucking awesome match.
But I like to see Will on Impact. I think he would fit in just fine.
Oh yes, and we also, this came in later, but we'll just talk about it now. We got a video package. We got this during the week as well, but Minoru Suzuki is coming to Impact. Who he's gonna face, I don't know. They probably will throw Eddie Edwards at him. I know you're not the biggest Eddie Edwards fan, but Eddie Edwards is probably the probably would take everything that Minoru Suzuki would give him.
I don't hate Eddie. It was just, I think the reason I give him shit was I was like watching one episode of Impact. This was months ago, and fucking Josh Matthews was on commentary, that piece of shit. And Eddie Edwards comes out, and then Matthews is like, Eddie Edwards is the heart and soul of Impact Wrestling, and I'm like, when he said that, I was like,
you never let that go.
Right. And I know A-Track, he's going to get this joke, because I'm a big Kingdom Hearts fan. In the Kingdom Hearts community, you got the Heartless and you got the Nobody. And I'm like, wait, Eddie Edwards is the heart and soul. I'm like, man, this must be Impact's Nobody, because I don't recognize this heart. Man. The heart and soul that I remember is like AJ Styles, Abyss, Samoa Joe.
At that time, Eddie, listen, at that particular time, Eddie really was kind of holding it down for them, because he's all they had. I'm not saying he was bringing in fucking extra people or whatever, but he was all they had.
All right, I'll stop giving him crap.
But nah, so you got Trey Miguel winning the match, which I thought at that point was okay. They have a lot to follow after that match, at least in my opinion, and especially with the way the crowd was with that match. And I also want to say this: they never lost the crowd tonight in any match. There was not one time the crowd felt like they were just sitting on their hands or like moving along. Even with that crazy ass battle royal, which we'll get to soon, they never lost the fucking crowd. So
it was a good crowd. I think probably low key the best thing is that Impact is very slowly rehabilitating their crowd issue. Because there was always jokes about they got less than 50 people and blah 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 blah. I think those days are behind Impact, and I don't think that they'll be back to where they were like in the Hogan Bischoff days, but they're on the up and up. They're doing better. I think
they have to get a better fucking TV deal. That's the only way that's ever going to get back to at least that point. They have to do something about the television deal. And I don't know what's going on with this. I'm seeing this shit about ESPN. I have no idea what that means. If ESPN, if they're going to be on ESPN, and if it's in ESPN in America, then that's a fucking good thing. That's
the messed up part, because it's been all these years, and the sins of Dixie still haunt them to this day.
Exactly. Exactly, and like I said, their new brand shit is the fact that they get new TV deals somewhere in West Bubblefuck, like in Russia, or fucking the latest news was, oh, we got a streaming deal in Russia. I'm like, okay,
But you know, things are on the up and up, and they're doing better. And I think I posted this on Facebook the other day, so it's my first time talking here on the show because it's my first time here. I found out about this show by accident, by mere happenstance, because I turned on my PS4, went to PSN just to do some
oh
shopping.
man, yeah,
Yeah, and there it was, like front and center, Bound for Glory this weekend. I was like, oh, cool, you know, because you know when you turn on your console, you might see a promotion about some boxing match or UFC or whatever. So that was the first time I saw like an Impact pay per view just promoted like that on just on a random outlet that I
yeah.
wouldn't be
You wouldn't
looking
expect
for.
to see that, yes. And if you're an Impact fan, you see that, you're like, oh, great, because I've seen the post of the Impact pages where they're like, yo, did you see this? Did you see this? And I'm
Right,
like,
right, right.
okay,
Yeah, see,
the Impact fans are
it
happy.
was that was the stuff. It was the stuff like that that Hogan and Bischoff didn't do, But that's another story. That's another story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Well, what we
All
have
right. So,
next?
all right. The next match was a very short match. It was Heath and Rhino versus Violent by Design. So, of course, in the match, Heath was by himself, and it was like, oh, will
Yes,
Rhino come or Rhino not come? And this was the match where people were thinking that maybe someone new would show up. No one did.
I was
Rhino
thinking.
showed. Right, right. Rhino showed up, did his thing, gored a few people, and they won. Cool.
That's it. Like I said,
Yeah.
other than the fact that I looked at that match and said, imagine what he would do if he had actual, people that was interested. If you take everybody in Sanity, with the exception of Nikki Cross, has been released. So if I was Impact, I'd be making a move to get those very same people who were in Sanity into Impact and repackage Violent by Design. Because now you
Yeah.
got, and no disrespect to Doring or Diener, but now you got some guys who had some light shine on them, and they're younger, and they can go, and they look more. Sanity looked more scary and more. They had more of a feel to it than Violent by Design. Though I got what he was doing. And that's why I said, that's a good thing for him being an Impact. They will let him explore that. So go get those people if you can. What we got next?
All right, next match is the Call Your Shot intergender gauntlet match. And let me go ahead and this is gonna be like a
Oh, we finally get to actually
right?
have this conversation. Yes, go ahead. Go
All right,
ahead.
so here's the thing, right? And I had to have this conversation with a lot of people today. This goes back to another racist bitch who we're not going to mention. I think if you guys put two and two together, y'all know who I'm talking about.
Oh.
So about a year or two ago, Impact was, they were just doing Impact stuff. Their product had improved. Impact's got a good product, but, they just don't have any buzz. Nobody was really talking about them. So at some point, Scott D'Amore, Don Callis, and a few others, they got in a room and they said, man, what can we do to get people to talk about our product? And they were like, yo, man, let's put our belt on a woman. All right, cool. And it just so happens the chick they decided to go with was a racist piece of shit. Of course, no, they couldn't have known that. We didn't know that. No one could have known that. But when they called her out, when she got called out,
my fucking call.
right. And the ironic thing about this is that she didn't cancel herself because everyone loves to scream cancel culture. No, the thing about it is this only happened because of her tweet. If she had never tweeted anything, nothing would have happened. So that's the funny thing about it. And of course, instead of apologizing or making a statement, she doubled down, which didn't help her at all. But in the end, Impact decided to go ahead and continue to push her. I don't fault them for that because the story that they were doing, they had kind of booked themselves into a corner. So yeah. I don't fault them for that. What I will fault them for is there's a saying, not just in wrestling, but in life, where there's smoke, there's fire. Too many people were throwing shade at this person to the point where you just couldn't dismiss it as BS. And Impact is basically just kind of, they put their heads down. They didn't do anything. Anyway, the relevance to this is some people might say, okay, well, what's this got to do with the intergender stuff? The point is that I can't go as much into it as I want to, because if I do, we'll be here all night. Impact has a good product, okay? It's got a good product, but it doesn't, for some reason, At one point, Impact used to be the alternative. It was. If you did not like WWE or if you were tired of their nonsense, you watched TNA. That was the perception. Perception is often reality. When I was in college, because I graduated high school in 2005, right? When I was in college, when Kurt Angle left, where did he go? TNA. When Christian left, where did he go? TNA. When Booker T left, where did he go? TNA. When Gail Kim left WWE, where did she go? TNA. Many more. TNA was the alternative. And the mid 2000s, late 2000s, early 2010s. Somewhere in the mid 2010s, like 2014, 2015, 2016, and this is another show that we can do entirely. Somewhere around this time span, something happened, and it no longer became the alternative. Maybe it was NXT popping off. Maybe it was Lucha Underground. Maybe it was the New Japan U.S. expansion deal.
No,
maybe
it was them that did it. They did it to themselves. They didn't even know.
Right.
It was Dixie. He was responsible for where you are, for where we are right now, pretty much.
Right. But the point is that they lost the narrative of being the alternative. So now, all these years later, their product is good. So it's like, well, what can we do? We got good wrestling. All right, well, AEW's got good wrestling. NXT's got good wrestling. Ring of Honor's got good wrestling. Okay, well, what can we do to make ourselves stand out? And at some point, Scott D'Amore, Don Callis, they said, well, we're going to make intergender a thing. You know, now intergender is not uncommon for Impact. They've always done that. Like rest in peace Daphne. You know, Daphne used to do intergender stuff.
She rest in peace, exactly. Yes.
You know, but you know.
Whoa! We forgot though. Where did they get this from?
What, the
Lucha Underground?
No, Lucha,
the whole intergender thing. They picked that up from Lucha. When Lucha ended, they started implementing various elements of Lucha, and that was the main thing, was the intergender shit. So go ahead.
Right. I just think that Lucha Underground they were more smarter with how they booked it. Impact,
you're absolutely right. Yeah.
Yeah. Impact is more just kind of like tacky about it. But the point is that intergender is a thing in Impact, and it's just one of the things that they do to make themselves stand out. I'm not really a fan of it, but I get it. It's different. So anyway, this gauntlet match is a combination of guys and girls. There was a lot of folks in this match. Let me see if I can get all the names here. Okay, Sabin, Rocky, Fulton, Raju, Tasha, Rachel, Savannah, Johnny Swinger, Melina, the Demon. Oh my God, I forgot about that. Brian Myers, Matt Cardona, Laredo Kid, Sam, Rich Swan, Ace Austin, Moose, Eddie Edwards' wife with no ass, and Big Cass.
And did you see what she had on? I was like, yo, she is embarrassing herself right now with this shit. She's got on assless chaps, but she ain't got no ass. It was assless. It definitely was assless chaps.
Yeah, man. Anyway,
yeah.
The match was what it was. I mean, it was a battle royale.
It was a wildest shit. But the Demon appearing was the ace in the hole for me. First of all, I could have sworn the Demon was played by Crush, but I have to go look that up. But when I saw that shit, I was like, what happened? They tried to get Danhausen and he couldn't make it? Like, what the fuck? I'm like, was this their alternative to motherfucking The Fiend? This is Braun Strowman's new gimmick? Yeah. And the funny thing is, he got a pop. Everybody was like, holy shit. And after that, all I wanted to do was see Tokyo Magnum. I'm like, yo, Tokyo Magnum got to come out now. We got to see all these old WCW heads. But it's funny with the women thing, because I was like, I always say this. I remember the first time we were debating that, we were going back and forth. I think I was in Virginia. And I remember laughing, and my mother was like, what is going on? I'm like, I'm just in a group talking about female intergender wrestling. And this is, just got a friend who's not a fan of it. And she's like, oh, okay. And she's like, well, what is he not a fan of? I'm like, he just doesn't think it's realistic. And she's like, what? She's like, wait a minute. We're talking about the same show that you watch where you have people getting burned coming back the next week. He's like, are y'all seriously arguing this? She was like, oh my God. She was like, Jesus Christ. And I just remember laughing about it. I'm like, that's exactly what I'm saying right now. That's why I can never, but you always make the point of saying they never make it feel like it's not intelligent insulting. So I can't disagree with you on that. But it's just like the overall scheme of it is like, dude, this is wrestling. I cannot look at this as anything more sillier than, somebody getting kicked in the head and getting kicked out. It's like, I can't. But one thing that we both wanted was one man winning this match. And that man won that match, and that was fucking Moose. Okay?
Yes.
And I didn't want to say shit because I didn't want to jinx anything. So when I saw what Moose did when I saw that he kicked out Morrissey, Big Buff Edge, when I saw him do that, I said, I think he's gonna win this. I think he's gonna win this. But the biggest mystery to me of that whole thing, and I don't know what the fuck it is. I'm starting to think this guy probably has something on these people. Why the fuck did Chris Sabin need to be protected? What is with this love? Talk about Eddie Edwards. They have an unconditional love for Chris Sabin. I don't get it. He didn't need to be protected. And
I mean, he is an OG, but yeah, I feel you. Yeah.
Well, yo, Madman Fulton comes in after he eliminates Ace Austin, and Madman Fulton, beats the shit out of Chris Sabin, and Chris Sabin gets eliminated. And as I'm saying this, the only thing I can think of is that they're going to start a feud with Ace Austin and Chris Sabin. Fine, it'll be a spot fest of the ages. I still didn't think that shit shouldn't have happened. I'm like, what? But
yeah, as a tag team, like most of the Machine Guns, like they're like on my top 5, but like it's a singles.
MIA for a while.
Right.
And maybe that sets up a return for Alex Shelley. They have a tag match. I don't know. But all I know is the man who we wanted to win won. Call your shot, Gauntlet. The winner was Moose. And we will talk about what Moose did later on. So let's just move on to the next match. Give me 1 second. Keep on talking. I got you.
All right, so we got the next match here. We got the Good Brothers against FinJuice, the Bullet Club, representing Hikuleo and Chris Bay. It's a triple threat for the Impact Tag Team Championships. Pretty basic about a number of stuff. Good Brothers are there. Now, there was a report coming into the show. We don't know how accurate this is or not. I've yet to see any reputable source confirm this, but there was a report saying that this was the last show that would have AEW and Impact sharing talents and stuff. I didn't really see anything on this show to kind of make me go, this is it. So anyway, that report was making many people thinking that the Good Brothers would lose, but no, they retained. Good match. I didn't really think there was any question in doubt, because, Tag League's coming up and, New Japan loves them some FinJuice. And Chris Bay, I would like to see him in, New Japan someday. But, go on for a second. I'll be right back in a minute.
Okay. Yeah. So you had the Good Brothers retaining the titles. You have people thinking that, like Top said, that this might be the end of their relationship. And I was saying to myself, just like he was, if it was the end of the relationship, then shouldn't the Good Brothers have lost those tag titles? Because, even though the Good Brothers themselves are not a part of AEW, they're part of the Elite, and you would think that them having the belts makes the Elite more of the Elite, and but it's also a possibility that they are keeping those belts because I don't think they're done feuding with God. I thought we were going to get a God appearance tonight because they've been going back and forth. They were on that show during the summer with New Japan, and where the fucking mic stopped working and shit. So I thought maybe they would make up for that tonight. But we saw no God. But I think God will be making an appearance at some point. And I think that we will have a match between the Good Brothers and God coming down the line. Yeah, so it might be the end of the relationship. It might not be. If you were looking at the match and you saw the Good Brothers leaving with the tag titles, like I said before, it's possible that they kept those titles on them because they still might not be done with God. I think
Right.
there's some room there for a future tag team title match with them, and I wouldn't mind if they put the belts on God because I'm just that big of a fan of theirs. So that particular one I wouldn't mind, and I think it's already in stone. We all know once the Good Brothers contract is up, they are going to AEW. It's not even a matter of if; it's just a matter of when. So I think that the forbidden, unless we're wrong, I think the forbidden door closes with them when the Good Brothers are officially gone. I think so. But to me, uh, was the forbidden door a waste? I wouldn't say no. I wouldn't say no. I wouldn't say no because I wouldn't say yes because even though ratings may not have improved, pay-per-view numbers for Impact definitely did improve with Omega as champion. So there is that
and
there.
social media awareness as well.
Yeah, you can't take away the fact that the extra eyes did get on Impact. Like rating wise, yeah, we all know that because see, here's the thing, and I've always went back and forth with one of my friends, Jeff Lippman, on this when he talks about the official numbers. Okay, we all know that yes, according to Nielsen numbers, a certain amount of people watch this. But the fact of the matter is, let's not kid ourselves here. You may not watch Impact on your television or your streaming service, but if you're a hardcore fan, you're gonna look up what's going on in Impact. You may not watch it, but sometimes and more people keeping up with Impact now than they were before. That's a fucking fact. Nobody can sit here and try to act like they did. There was a spell where nobody gave a shit, and you can still say nobody does give a shit, but you obviously see more eyes on Impact now, especially now. What happened? Let's see where this goes now. But
Right. My only criticism of the whole thing was that we never saw a big Impact person on AEW.
Exactly.
Like when Thunder Rosa showed up, she was at the time when Thunder Rosa showed up, she was the NWA Women's Champion. They acknowledged it. Camille made like one appearance on Dynamite. She was the NWA Women's Champion. So it's like, okay, there is their NWA representation. And we've seen several New Japan folks show up, like Suzuki or Kenta, and they say, oh, Bullet Club member Kenta or
they've shown more respect to them than they have with Impact,
right,
who's been more of a partner to them than New Japan had. So
I thought that Moose versus Omega, I thought that should have been a match on Dynamite because Rampage wasn't a thing at that time.
It was.
So I thought that was going to be a match on Dynamite, or at the very least, let it be a match on Dark or something. Instead, they filmed the match in Daly's place in front of a Dark crowd, but then they removed the AEW logos, so it looked like Dark, but it wasn't Dark. But then they aired it. Yeah, exactly. It was weird, And then when they did, and I'm not a huge Rich Swann's a talented guy. Like I'm not like super into him, but he's talented. But like that killed Swann because when they did that build up, Rich didn't show up once on AEW. So
not
it's like
once, and that shit was pissing me off.
Right. So it's like, how could you believe?
Like, yo, what's going on here?
Right. Like, how could you believe that Rich could have any chance of winning when he never even showed up once? So what I like to see for Impact is just see an Impact champion just show up on AEW. Like, as an example, I could totally see an X Division champion since the X Division style is the most similar to AEW style. Like, I could totally see like a Trey Miguel versus Sammy Guevara, or if you don't, right, or if Sammy's too high of a profile because he's TNT champion, you could do Trey Miguel versus let's see, who's what's the guy? Ricky Starks, right, or Leo. Leo's there now. Leo Rush. Yeah, something like that.
Dante Martin. They can use that with the whole angle right now. Not that I want them to take the belt off Trey Miguel and put it on Dante Martin, but I'm just saying.
There's a plethora, and I know that Deanna and Britt Baker have been pushing for a while to do a match. There's we all know the end game for Britt Baker is Thunder Rosa, but if you want to kill some time between that, there's a lot of knockouts that could show up for one-off matches with Britt. You could get Jordan Grace against Britt Baker. You could get Rosemary against Britt Baker. There's a lot of stuff.
That was the biggest disappointment to me. You have Abaddon. you could have done something with Abaddon and Rosemary. And I was really hoping they were going to do that. And Abaddon hasn't even been around like that. I mean, maybe she's been on Dark or Dark Elevation. I don't watch it like that, so I don't know. But they really should have had. They had it there. They had something with those two right there, and it's like you did nothing. Why? What would have hurt you to put those two together to see some type of feud? And I'll say a lot about Deonna and Britt Baker as we get into the Britt Baker and Mickie James match coming up, because we got more. What we got next?
Well, actually, the next match is the Knockouts match. We've got Mickie James against Deonna Purrazzo. Now, I'm actually very familiar with Deonna, even though I don't watch Impact like that. I was very familiar with her. She was on NXT. The there's so many variations of NXT now, so I'm going to call it Grunge NXT, Triple H NXT. I'm going to call it Grunge NXT. Anyway, Deonna was on there. Yeah, so Deonna and Tay Conti were both regulars on NXT. They were featured inconsistently, along with the Santana Garrett chick, who for some reason still isn't signed somewhere. I don't get that. But every time I saw Deonna, she was very impressive, but it was always like 3-4 minute matches where like you want to see a little bit more. It was never like anything long term. And she got released basically because she was asking questions. Really, they didn't want her to ask questions. And when I heard she got picked up by Impact, I knew automatically, because I don't even follow Impact like that anymore. Yeah. But when she got picked up by Impact, I said, yeah, they're gonna turn her into like the next big woman star, as we said before, because Impact is very good at turning nobodies into somebodies. And so when she revamped herself as
back in the day,
right. When she revamped herself as the Virtuosa, I was like, yeah, she's going to be like... It was funny. When she started calling herself the Virtuosa, I was like, she's probably going to be like their new Gail Kim. She's just going to run over everybody. She's going to probably have like the longest reign. That's exactly what she did. So, and Mickie, I mean, I don't even know where to start with Mickie. Mickie, I think when it's all said and done, Mickie James is probably like...
She's going to be like second to Gail Kim. It's the most hardcore wrestling thing.
Yeah, she's probably like the most, I don't want to say underrated. She's the most underutilized, I'd say, women's wrestler I've seen in my lifetime. She's really good, but a lot of people don't realize how good she is. How good
she really is, exactly.
Right. Because just of how badly WWE done. And that's like the one thing about WWE I don't like is that they'll misuse you to make you forget how good they actually are. Like exactly. I was having debates about this when Kofi said that. When Kofi was doing the Kofi Mania shit, before he won the WWE title, everybody was talking about like, man, Kofi's really good. And I was kind of like, that's one of the main differences between the Elite and the New Day. Because people criticize the Elite and say they joke around too much, which they do. Mm-hmm. However, when the bell rings, there's nobody better than the Bucks. There's nobody better than Kenny. You never forget how good they are. But with the New Day, WWE has them joke so much that you forget how good individually
they are. Exactly.
Kofi, Biggie, and Xavier are. It's like, no, these dudes are good. It's just right, But anyway.
They turn them into clowns. We all know I'm not the biggest fan of the New Day. Even though I humbled myself when Kofi was champ because I wanted to, I backed off some of my criticism while he was champ. But once he lost the belt, I was like, and after they took the belt off Bobby Lashley and put it on this clown, and I see this dude. When I see this man doing what he's doing, I'm like, I am so glad my daughter does not watch WWE right now. Because she would be like, what the hell is wrong with this guy? She looks at the New Day. I remember when she said, Dad, what is this? I'm like, I don't know, baby. I don't know what to tell you. Because that little girl watches New Japan. So you cannot take a kid who was, she's growing up now, so she's getting into other things. But at that particular time, that little girl was so pro Los Ingobernables. But she was see the New Day. She wrote a poem in school saying how much she didn't like the New Day.
I mean,
but anyway, you're absolutely right, man.
If your daughter's watching the G1, I mean, she'll be all right. That's all I can say.
Exactly. So it's like What you're saying is absolutely right. But this match, going through the whole night, this match can't. And I said this match was going to be good, and I'm like, this isn't a piss break match. I'm gonna watch. Even during that whole match, we were on the thread. I didn't comment until that match was over because I wanted to watch this shit. And I said to myself, with Mickie James being the veteran that she is, this is just as good as anything we will see before. And I was saying to myself, even though I don't give a fuck about her right now, I don't fuck with her. The racist bitch. Her match with Gail Kim at that time, I said was like a top 5 match of the year. It really was that fucking good. So I said to myself, this match is the measuring stick. Like that match is the measuring stick. They gotta outdo that match in order for me to fucking really love this match. And god damn it, they fucking did. Deanna, see, if I like, you have people, when I saw that Deanna and Britt Baker wanted to work together, I said to myself, I love that. And I remember, like I said on the other show, there was this idea that somebody threw out where you should have both of them win the tag team titles, lose the titles, and build the feud off of that, then face each other. Probably won't happen. This match, it was so good. Like, it wasn't a kick out fest, even though you had them kicking out of some serious shit. But it was done with the right type of psychology and a great amount of storytelling. And again, they did not lose this crowd. They had that crowd fucking standing up and going fucking nuts. Mickie was taking bumps that I didn't think she could fucking take. Fucking Deanna fucking really earned her stripes tonight. And I can't say that enough about her because as you already said, she was never really allowed to display who she was until she got to Impact. And she's been on fucking fire since then. And like, even though she didn't make number 1 on the PWI women's list, I felt that I understood why they made Bianca number 1. But I felt it should have been Deanna. But I understood she was an Impact, so they wasn't going to give her that shit. But they really should have, because she's that good.
You got to remember the PWI is a kayfabe list,
Yeah. And
yeah, man, I'm always gonna,
Britt Baker is the. I feel that Britt Baker is the better character overall because I think she has more of a swag. But I think Deanna is just the better performer in the ring.
I think Britt and Deanna, and this is gonna come off really weird. I think they got a Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels thing going on. I
understand what you mean.
Yeah, I think Britt is Shawn and Deanna is Bret.
It's Bret Hart,
yeah. They're both great, but in their own way, kind of. But yeah, man, much respect to TNA and Impact for always respecting women's wrestling and not gaslighting fans about it. They've always cared. One of my fondest memories, I don't know if you ever saw this episode track. This is how I know I'm getting old. 2009, New Year's Eve was an entire episode based off a Knockouts tournament. Do you remember that one?
I do remember that. I don't remember it too vividly, but right. I do remember the tournament though. I do remember them having the tournament, and that was really the catalyst for the women's revolution that a lot of people keep trying to give to WWE. But I am so glad there's a strong base of fans out there that don't even fuck with Impact, but like, wait a minute, whoa. If you're gonna say who started this shit, it started with Impact. It started with Gail Kim. It started with fucking Awesome Kong, who they inducted, into their Hall of Fame just this past week. And, again, they were able to show that tonight. Unfortunately, I think they don't have the same eyes on them like WWE, but these fucking chicks went out there and matched the entire. The match was longer than the entire Queen of the Ring tournament.
And to this day, to the WWE fans out there, who don't really follow Impact, this is another thing to put out there. Every time a girl, of a notable name gets put in their Hall of Fame, when they start to give out, shout outs, they all mention Gail Kim. Yep. Trish mentioned Gail Kim. If I recall correctly, I think Lita mentioned Gail Kim. I'm pretty sure Beth Phoenix also mentioned Gail Kim. Who else mentioned her? not Kelly Kelly. No, I always get Kelly Kelly confused with what's her name?
Taryn Terrell.
No. The one, she lost her dad, unfortunately.
Oh,
The one that was a Billy Kidman, Tori Wilson,
yeah,
is that her name?
Yeah.
Yeah. All of them have mentioned Gail, you know. So, but yeah, man, TNA Impact has always had good women's wrestling. But yeah, great match. I know some people were disappointed that Deanna lost to Mickey, and I get that. Now, again, I know you know more about this than me because you follow the product more. But last I checked, she's pretty much gone through like everybody there is to go through. There was really nothing left for her to do. So
she's walking around with the Triple A title right now, you know?
Right, exactly. She's right, and Mickey's in great shape. It's not like she's going to be some part timer. You know, she's going to defend. So
exactly. You know. Even though I think I had a theory. Depending on the forbidden door being closed or open, if it's still open, here's my theory. I don't know if it's going to happen. It's not a prediction. It's just a theory. Britt Baker takes the title off of Mickie James. And then Deonna Purrazzo takes the title off of Britt Baker. Because, see, if you're AEW, it's a smart thing to do. You see, you have her lose, but you don't have her lose her title. You know, you just have her lose the Impact title to an Impact Wrestler. So if Britt Baker was to get that belt from Mickie and then lose it to Deonna, AEW doesn't lose anything. Britt Baker doesn't really lose shit, and the AEW aren't going to look down on her because they don't.
I like your idea. What I was thinking, surprisingly, there are no female factions in AEW. There's a lot of factions, not one. So what I was thinking, what if Deonna has like a Good Brothers deal where she's with Impact but still appears for AEW every so often? And what if she joins Baker's crew? And then it could be Baker, Deonna, you know, Rebel, and
they help
Jamie
Deonna get the title back. Yeah.
Right. It's like, what if she joins and like it becomes like Baker's like her squad, right? And then she can help Baker out in her matches while Deonna like occasionally has matches. And because she's Deonna, you know, she never loses. So, you know, gradually her record goes up. And then eventually down the line, when Britt loses, it can be some type of miscommunication or something like that. You know, just an idea. But,
exactly.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
All right, so this brings us to the main event now. We got Josh Alexander against Christian Cage. Now, I said on the thread that my only real criticism with the match, and we'll see, not the match, but the build to the match is, I don't like how they finished off Kenny, because his finish was basically on AEW, you know, like, because he was the Impact champion, and there was no finality or conclusion to, like, the last appearance. Like,
he just lost, and he just went back to AEW.
Right, because when he was the Impact champ, I thought I was convinced the main event was going to be Kenny versus Moose versus Sammy in a three-way. That's what I was thinking.
I was with that too. And Sammy's hurt. He's going to be out for a while. I think he's out until like next year or something, if I'm not mistaken. I liked how they built this match. I really did. I was going around saying that pound for pound, I think Josh is like one of the best wrestlers in the world. I really do. I like this guy. I think this guy is, you know, like Kurt Angle light. And I say light because he doesn't have the exact same intensity as a Kurt Angle, but he wrestles like a Kurt Angle. And I saw a lot of that tonight. And I thought that, first of all, I don't think either one of us was going into this match thinking that Christian wasn't going to deliver. He was definitely going to deliver. You said something tonight that was also on point when you were like, yo, they need to stop taking certain bumps. Now, Josh Alexander's not old, but Christian is up there in age. And Christian had a history of shoulder injuries, and I just kept noticing how much he kept falling on that shoulder whenever he took bumps outside of the ring. And you were saying, you know, this shit is, they need to chill. And you're absolutely right. But hey, these guys were fucking delivering, and again, the crowd was into it. The stars of tonight was the fucking crowd, okay? Yeah. I really got to hand it to the crowd because they were just there the whole night. And this was, I mean, it was West Coast, so I guess maybe it was like 9 o'clock for them. Was it later or was it earlier? I don't know. But they never, you know, and it wasn't like thousands of people. But I've seen shows with the crowd that size of TNA, and it was always kind of, towards the end of the show, like, and a good applause at the end. But this crowd did not stop, and the guys kept them interested. The guys and the gals kept them there the whole time, and that's another thing that made this show really, really great. And this match just kept that up. And I was saying, that last match with the women, man, they gonna have to top that. And there was a time where I would have never said that. Well, I never thought I would even see that. But that's how much the evolution of women's wrestling in a place like Impact has grown. That the fact that they are putting on matches where the men in the back like, God damn, we gotta follow that shit. But they came in and they did their job, man. Fucking Christian doing what he did, and Josh Alexander with the fucking way he was chain wrestling, and the story that, first of all, Josh Alexander's wife is fucking beautiful. Okay, now I've seen Carl Anderson's so-called hot Asian wife. Not that hot. Not distant, but not that hot. Josh Alexander has a hot Asian wife. A hot Asian wife with a booty. And I noticed that booty because Josh Alexander wins the match with a great fucking... What he did to get this, first of all, Christian ends up tapping. He gets him in a fucking ankle lock. Christian tries to kick out. He holds on like an angle would. And then Christian tries to move the arm. He steps on the arm so Christian can't move. Christian had nowhere to fucking go. And Christian fucking tapped. And I was like, holy shit. What a fucking great ass way to end that fucking match. Top, tell him what happened after that happened. I'll leave that up to you, brother.
But you can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. I guess my shit died. Yeah, man, I liked the match. It was great. I'm not too familiar with Josh, but yeah, man, I see what you're saying. He's really technical. I popped at the Chaos Theory. Love the Chaos Theory.
Mm-hmm.
Great finisher. I'm never worried about Christian. He's the captain, so he's always going to deliver stuff like that. So it was cool that he tapped out. That was nice. It was definitive and stuff like that. I was kind of wondering. I was like, because. I was kind of like in the match watching. I was like, I think, as cool as this is, I was like, I want to see Christian Moose because I know Christian. And I remember this, man. Everybody remember when Christian had his match with Ezekiel Jackson. Look, man, I've met Big Zeke before. Zeke, cool guy, really humble, but he sucked. He wasn't good.
He was bad.
Christian carried Zeke. He carried Zeke to good matches, and I was like, man,
exactly.
if he can do that for Zeke. Imagine what he can do with Moose, So
he's already good, who's way above Ezekiel Jackson. We're not even trying to put him in the same category, but yeah, exactly.
All right, it's a great match, and I was watching, and I was like, I saw like the the wife and the kid in the front row, and I was getting flashbacks of Bobby Roode. I'm like, they wouldn't have him lose in front of his wife and kid, would they?
Exactly.
And I was like, yeah. And I was like, well, this isn't Hogan and Bischoff, new regime, so he'll probably win, which he did. I
didn't expect to see what happened. I was expecting it on the next week's show. I really was. Because when I saw the wife and the kid get in the ring, I'm not going to lie. When I saw the wife and the kid get in the ring, I was about to type this, but I didn't. I said, Josh, please don't kill your family. I said that shit. I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks. When you see a wrestler join his family, join him after he wins, you know where your fucking mind goes. Let's stop the bullshit. We are all cursed with that. It is unfortunate, but we all know the deal. We all thought the same shit. When we saw fucking Daniel Bryan there with his sister and his niece. So, whatever that happens is always going to cross someone's mind. You may not have the balls to say it, but you're definitely thinking it. But go ahead, man.
And so, the finish came. Josh won. Here comes Christian, doing things the right way. Gives Josh a hug. Gives him the belt. Here comes the wife. Here comes the kid. Here comes the you deserve it stuff. Everything's going good. And then in the corner of my eye, I see black lightning appear from the sky. And it strikes the wing and it hits a white colonizer known as Josh Alexander. And Moose spears Josh so hard that our ancestors felt it from the land of Nirvana.
Ancestors!
Speared him, and he called his shot, and he pinned Josh. And finally, the years of TNA's bullshit have been corrected, because where they made the mistake with Monty Brown, where they made the mistake with Elix Skipper, where they made the mistake with the Pope, D'Angelo Daenerys, where they made the mistake with Jay Lethal, they corrected with Moose. Moose.
And here was my reaction for those who are wondering, because I probably won't be able to get it up. Pause. But so here was the reaction I had. Hold on. Here we go. Let's pause it. I want to get it right. There we go. Here we go. Here was the reaction. That's just a part of it. Listen, I was I could. First of all, let me just say again, I can't be beat in these mean streets. I predicted this shit. It didn't go down the way exactly I thought it would, but it still happened. Moose left Bound for Glory the fucking champion, and I'm not bullshitting. With a tear in my eye, I was fucking happy as fuck. I dead ass cried in joy, with joy. Yo, I was so fucking happy, man, because I was saying with Trey Miguel, the dude resigned, don't shit on him. Moose resigned. I saw him take a pin from fucking Chris Sabin, and I really didn't want to watch the product anymore. I really didn't. I even Moose saw my reaction and fucking retweeted and said this shit was funny to me. So I wonder how he's gonna feel about this reaction that I'm gonna send his ass, because oh my god! And I was like, all right, show's over. Top, let's go. Let's hurry up. Let's do this. We got some celebrating to do. Hold on. This shit right here. This is for Moose.
Oh, I forgot earlier in the review. At the beginning, A-Track mentioned the Braves. So here was going on. The Braves, the finish was coming during halfway through the tag match. So in a tag match, because when you're a Georgia resident, you're used to your team choking. Sorry, it's a Georgia thing. What are you, the Falcons?
I'm from New York. The Mets do the same shit every fucking year.
Right. So when I heard the Braves, we're like one win away from the World Series, I was like, yeah, okay, here comes the screw job, like it always does. Here comes Vince and Patterson and all those dudes. But no, it was in the ninth ending, and it was the top of the ninth, and they were in Atlanta, so if they don't get through the ninth, then that's it. So it was 4-2, and I'm like, let me make sure to watch. I'm gonna watch this live and make sure they don't choke. And that was during the tag match. So they won. So awesome for the Braves. First World Series since 1999, which is fucking depressing.
In 99? Has it been that long?
Yes, it has been that long. It's depressing because the same year of 99, the Falcons also choked at the Super Bowl.
Dirty Birds. Dirty Birds.
Oh, my God. Anyway. But, yeah, so a night of celebration. The Braves won. Moose won, and the best part was when he speared Josh, the wife and the son was still in the ring.
Yo, first of all, I don't know how they worked that finish out. I don't know how that little boy was able to be so calm the way he was. But yo, I want to say props to that young man. That young man has a future, damn it. But over his family like, fuck your kids, nigga. His over both of them. I was like, yo, I couldn't believe it. And I was going insane. And I'm sitting here like, yo, I know these niggas is like, Track must be losing his fucking mind right now. And you're goddamn right, I was. You heard it here first on the PWHustle.
Yeah, people going to trip when this is over. You know, we're reaching the end. You know, we're already like, you know, approaching the end of October. So we don't have much of 2021 left. But, you know, at the end of the year, all the podcasts and all the journalists and all the radio magazines and all them, they get together and they do, you know, best show of the year, worst show of the year, you know, best promotion of the year and blah, blah, blah. But there's always title change of the year. I don't care if it's fucking Impact Wrestling. This right here with Moose, this was the title change of the year right here. This is it right here, you know.
JD from New York, give Impact they props. Dave Meltzer, give Impact they props. Silo Monster, give Impact they props. I will accept nothing less. All right, nothing less. Give them their props. Moose did it. This guy is a fucking monster. All right, and y'all are liking your tribal chief. That's all good. That's all good. Love your tribal chief.
And and the reason why like this is like so refreshing to me is because Bound for Glory just has a history of them just doing dumb shit in the finish.
Yes.
Like Bob, like, you know, to this day I still remember vividly. Like, we all have our first memory. Like, if you've been a wrestling fan for any period of time, you all have like your first memory of like that first wrestling story that just caused the internet to go crazy. I still remember Kurt Angle beating Bobby Roode. And I don't know if you ever heard of this show. I used to listen to the show. It was called The Law, Live Audio Wrestling. I used to listen to it.
I never heard it, but I am familiar with it.
Right. I used to listen to them, and they were going off on Roode losing to Angle because like they had spent that, what was it, the Bound for Glory series? They spent that whole summer building up.
I love that. Yo, to this day I haven't seen anything really top that feud that they. I fucking love that. And
now that I'm older, I look back on that and I'm like, wow, that was basically TNA's G1. Because at that time I wasn't a New Japan. Right, and I didn't realize it. Like, wow, that was their G1. That was awesome, you know. But they fucked that up, and Bobby lost. The 10-10-10 bullshit with Jeff. Remember that 10-10?
I didn't. You know, I wasn't mad because I was a Kurt Angle fan. So for me, it was like whatever. Yeah. But I do remember a lot of people were pissed about it. But I just remember for a long time. It's funny because I haven't talked about that in years, but I just remember telling people, yo, the Bound for Glory series. It's like, yo, this was the greatest thing ever. I'm like, you ain't see the Bound for Glory series, have you? They haven't done anything like that in a while, and I wish they would. I wish they would. But the fact of the matter is this. You don't take this belt off this man for at least 2 years. I don't give a fuck. Whatever Forbidden Door is happening, I don't give a fuck. You listen. It's time to make that man the belt collector. Send him to AAA. Have him take Kenny Omega. Have him take the belt over Kenny Omega. Send him to fucking. Listen, Okada is going to separate the belts. All right, send that nigga to New Japan. Have him win the IC title. I don't give a fuck. I'll
tell you what they should do. I'll tell you what they should do, man. You want to really break the door? Here's what you do. You send Moose to Ring of Honor to bring relevancy back, and he can be the first person ever to be Impact and Ring of Honor champion at the same time. And he actually has a history with Ring of Honor. So you can't say, oh, that's Moose in Ring of Honor? That's random. No, it's not. He was in Ring of Honor. He was there. He was undefeated. He had an undefeated streak in Ring of Honor. I forgot who beat him. It was Cedric. Cedric beat him. Man, that was such a long time ago. I remember that, though. But, yeah, Moose should be... He should have, like, you know, like how Roman's just on top, and it's like, this nigga's not losing, like, until Kingdom Hearts 4 comes out.
Exactly.
Moose is not losing until we get the PS7, okay?
Yo, for real, man. For real. Yo, Moose, when Moose loses, what we, like, Moose doesn't lose until we get a great Fantastic Four movie. Like, fuck, until we get a great Dragon Ball Z reality movie. That's the only, this motherfucker does not lose this belt. Don't bullshit. Do not bullshit around. Okay, listen. There was a time where I kept saying, man, Moose could be complete if all he had to do, if all he would do was go in the gym and do some sit-ups and lose that gut. He lost it. The man is a fucking Adonis. He's a like there's nothing else he needs right now. You might want to give him a manager or whatever. You can do that. You can add that. That's fine. I don't know what the fuck Prince Nana is doing. Call that nigga up. What the fuck? But yeah, because you talk about the ROH thing. I would love if they brought Prince Nana in and then he came into ROH with Moose and he became champion. I would love that shit. But yo, this is all I really fucking wanted, yo. I don't give a fuck. Listen, and I keep saying this shit to people. He's
the best thing that they have. Like you follow Impact more than I do now, but the few times I watched Impact, I'd say for like the past, I'm not even exaggerating, because like I'll check out their big shows like Slammiversary, Destination X. They have so many new shows now, but I'd say like since 2018. Every time I watch Impact, I'm like, that's their best guy right there. Why isn't this guy getting the push? Like, I know Hulk Hogan's a piece of shit. Fuck Hogan. But to Hogan's credit, when Hogan came in WCW and Booker told the story, Hogan came in, he was sitting in a creative meeting. It was Bischoff, Hogan, what was his name? JJ Dillinger, was that his name? I forgot. There was a bunch of people there. Yeah. They were sitting there and they were just going through their little thing. And at some point, there was a conversation about who they put the titles on, like the tag titles on. And Hogan just kind of casually, he was eating. Booker said Hogan was like eating like Subway. He was just eating. Like he wasn't even paying, like, like you're not really paying attention, but you are kind of paying attention.
Yeah.
And Hogan was like, tag champs. He was like, Harlem Heat's like the best shit you got. The fuck you going on? And like it's like it for whatever reason, it took Hogan saying that for the WCW management to see how good Harlem Heat was, which was really dumb. But hey, he backed Booker, and so that's why to this day Booker doesn't really throw Hogan under the bus, which I can understand. So
but we all saw that look he gave him on that Raw. We know the deal.
But in a similar boat, as someone who doesn't really follow Impact anymore, the few times I watch, I see Moose, and I'm like, this dude's got the look, he's got the in-ring ability, he's got the markability, he's got the cool theme, he can talk, he can go. I mean, he's got the full package. And it was just like they were pushing everybody but him. They were pushing Eddie Edwards, Sammy Callahan, Rich Swann, Sabin, a racist piece of shit. Everybody. And it's like, and then they did the 6-man, and I think the 6-man.
And the funny thing is, Moose stood behind that racist piece of shit. That's another thing, because I was just like, come on, Moose. I see what you're doing, but come on, man.
I think I want to hope that what opened the door, no pun intended, was when they did that 6-man, when they did Kenny and the Good Brothers versus Swann, Sabin and Moose. Yeah, because that was supposed to be the Guns and Swann. But then Moose came in, and I think they were like, yo, Moose.
Yeah, because Shelley had something he couldn't ignore. He had to go deal with something, and they brought in Moose for that. Yeah.
And I think what happened was they went to Moose, and when they went to Moose, they were like, yo, man, we just need a warm body. So I think they put him in the match just expecting him to just be a body. And then Moose looked at that, and Moose was like, I'm going to be in the ring with Kenny, one of the best wrestlers in the world. I'm going to use this as an opportunity to show them that these motherfuckers should be pushing me. And I want to hope that that's what opened their eyes and made them go, what the fuck are we doing? Because after that 6-man, all of a sudden Moose was featured a lot more. Like in the upper tier, upper echelon.
I just think it was that match he had with Kenny Omega in general. Because that shit was fucking 5-star. When it's December 30th or December 28th or whatever, and we're doing the show and we're talking about top matches of the year, you better believe that shit is going to be in my top 10, if not my top 5.
See, more than anything, that shit right there, to me, that hurt Swann more than Kenny beating him. Because when the 6-man was over, everybody was like, man, I want to see Omega Moose, and nobody cared about Omega Swann. That was just...
Unfortunately, that's it. Those are the breaks. I mean, and I like Swann. You know, I've always tried to defend, who he is as a wrestler. And I thought, and even though he was in the top 10 of the PWI 500 this year, which I found really strange, but I was happy for him.
What number was he?
I think he was 10. He was either 10 or like 9. I forgot. He was in the top 10, though. I was like, what? Rick Swan? I didn't get it, but I was happy for him. Yo, we're going to have to get out of here. It's fucking 2:30 in the morning. My black ass is fucking tired, and I still got some celebrating to do. So, Top, do me a favor. Let the people know where they can find you at, brother.
All right, man. You can follow me on Toph Knows Best, which was intended as a joke that I did. A friend of mine was like, yo, make a Twitter. And I was like, I really didn't want a Twitter. And he was like, just make one. And I just, okay, I'll just name myself Toph Knows Best. And the very next day, the Hogan scandal happened. Legit. That's a real story. So, yeah, that's my Twitter. So,
and that group you are, the PWP Nation?
Yeah. I'm also part of the PWP Nation and stuff like that. So, but yeah,
that's a Facebook
mostly on
Twitter.
Twitter.
You guys get on that?
Yep.
Yo, you know me, A-Track Brown. You find me on Twitter, A-Track Dastardly, the number 8, T-R-A-C Dastardly. It's 2:30 in the morning right now, but my black ass is still going to be up because I got to do these review for y'all, these fucking reactions for y'all, which I've been asking for. The Star Wars, the 15-minute show reaction, the Visions or whatever, I'm going to try to figure that out. Somebody made a very good idea. I should probably just do 2 shows or whatever. I'm going to do the whole thing. I'm going to do the whole thing. I'm going to edit it out. I don't win, but I'm going to get it done for you guys. Don't worry about it. And for those who are asking me to make a gaming channel, the man that I want to do that is right here. So if you're in that comment section, flood that shit up because I am a gamer, but the gamer is right here with me. This wasn't really about me trying to get him on the show just because I wanted him on the show. This was me trying to convince him to do some gaming shit so we can get it on the hustle. So if I can convince Brother Toph to do this shit, then you will have your gaming show. But it won't be with me. It will be with Brother Toph. I hope he can. Listen. I will buy him the next Kingdom Hearts game if he does this shit. I will personally buy that shit for him.
We gotta hope to still be alive by the time it comes out, man. we don't want COVID-19 to evolve into COVID-35 by then to take us out.
So what do you think? All right. Let's say this right now. What do you think is coming out first? Kingdom Hearts 4 or GTA 7 or 6?
Man, I'm pretty sure that I'm probably going to be a granddad by the time GTA 7 comes out. That shit is not coming out in our lifetime, man. They're going to keep making DLC, and you motherfuckers are going to keep buying it.
And I refuse to. I have not. The last DLC I bought was, I think, the casino shit, because I was like, I want to see how this plays. And I only played that for 30 minutes before I said, fuck this shit. So I don't give a fuck what they're doing. I want a fucking GTA 6 already, and Kingdom Hearts 4 it's whatever. But the next fucking Final Fantasy game that comes out, it better be as good as 15, if not better. But anyway, we gonna get the fuck out of here. Thank you guys for joining us. PWHustle, A-Track Brown, Toph, the newest member, the latest member, the newest guy who's going to be joining us hopefully in the future. All right. So I see you guys later. Thanks for joining us. God bless. Peace.